They say every teacher wants to make a difference. This teacher did, but not the kind anyone expected. Her affair with a student would lead to public shame, a shattered family, and one very public. It starts with this woman, Erin from Tennessee, USA. She was 30 years old at the time, and she was once a promising student teacher, a wife, and a mother. And Erin came from a troubled background. She had divorced parents, bouncing from one household to another, and a deep longing for love and stability. And as a teenager, she met Eric, a brilliant, charismatic musician. She was 17 at the time, and he was 18 when they made the decision together to have a child. And Erin was dreaming of creating the family she never had. Despite being so young, Erin and Eric stayed together for 10 years, and they had 2 kids, lived modestly, and juggled schools, job, and parenting. Erin even earned a scholarship to a top graduate program, and from the outside they looked like a couple beating the odds. But behind closed doors, things were falling apart, and Erin at the time said Eric was emotionally absent, had cheated on her, and had violent outbursts. And at one point, she even accused him of threatening her with a. And still they stayed together mostly because of the kids. In 2006, Erin was teaching at a school and met this guy, Sean. And Sean was an 18-year-old senior at the school. And what started innocently as mentoring quickly crossed the line. And by then, Erin believed her marriage was over, and she proposed an open relationship with Eric, and hoping it could somehow keep the family intact while allowing both partners to seek emotional fulfillment elsewhere. And Eric agreed, but he wasn't handling it well, especially when he realized Erin's other partner was an 18-year-old. Now here's where it really gets messy. Sean started hanging around the Erin and Eric's home regularly, watching movies, playing with the kids, and even staying over. And Eric struggled with jealousy, especially as Sean became a regular presence in their lives. And at some point, they even started making out on Eric's bed. Sean even started spending more time with Eric than Erin did. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, I don't know why people agree to have an open marriage. I mean, why not separate or divorce or something? Anyways, at some point, Sean began taunting Eric about his relationship with Erin. I guess something like, "Hey man, thanks for warming up the bed. I'll take it from here." Or, "What's up man? You mind putting the kids to bed? I got plans with your wife." You know, that kind of taunting. And tensions continued to grow between Eric and Sean. And apparently one night when all 3 drank together, Eric even suggested a threesome. Let me point here, I don't know if that actually happened. On March 10, 2007, Sean shows up at the Eric's home, high and drunk, and began mocking Eric as usual, telling Eric, "I'm taking your wife out on a date." But for whatever reason, that day, Eric snaps. I believe that was the final straw. And Eric dials 911, reporting an intruder. And Erin thought it was kind of odd, right? Because Sean had been invited over many times. And Sean reportedly tells Eric he will go outside to wait for Erin, because of the 911 call. And Erin tells Sean she will join him, but needed to use the bathroom. Now, while Erin was in the bathroom, Eric follows Sean to the car and blam, shoots Sean, and Sean slumps in the driver's seat, shot in the face. It's not exactly clear why Eric followed Sean outside or if the argument continued outside. In Tennessee, you can use deadly force in self-defense if you reasonably believe there's an imminent threat of death or serious bodily harm, and if you have no other reasonable way to escape the danger. But in this case, it's not exactly clear what happened. And here's what Sean looks like. And when Erin comes out, Eric was standing beside the car, calm, holding the bang, and he looked at Erin and simply said, "Congratulations." Now, I don't know why or what that means and why he said that. Eric claimed the shooting was accidental, stating he intended only to scare Sean away. Eric was convicted of reckless homicide, which is a lesser charge than first-degree homicide, and was sentenced to 90 days in jail. And this is Eric in court. And after that, Erin fled with her kids, thinking Eric would be locked up for life. But instead, the media turned its focus on her, and she was labeled everything from a temptress to a child predator. She says she even received hate mail, including postcards allegedly from Eric calling her a manipulator and a bunch of some other stuff. And Erin tried to start over in Texas in a new school. Apparently she was accused, though she was never charged, of inappropriate behavior with another teenager and in her school, in her new job. And she denies all of it, saying the rumors were rooted in the fallout from Eric's case. And to this day, Erin insists her relationship with Sean, while deeply regrettable, was not criminal, and he was 18. But she admits it was the biggest mistake of her life. And this is Erin. And if you were in Eric's shoes and you found your spouse in bed with a teenager, what would you have done? My name is Ken. I've unveiled this story. Follow me for more.